Fly Collective Real Estate here in Sun Valley. I wanted to do something a little bit different and comment on something that's happening live within our market right now. Typically this time I would probably do some sort of market update, touch on what's going on within the county. However, I thought that this might be a little bit more interesting and it hit me, so I'm going to share it. And for anyone who's watching these videos, I haven't done this before, so I'm going to ask. If you're getting any value out of these videos, please like and subscribe to this. Every single week on Friday, I'm releasing a video touching on all aspects of living here in Sun Valley. So if you've got any real estate needs, please let me know. I'm here to help guide you on your path and make sure you're making the right decision. So let's get into this article here. This is in the paper this week. This is from the Idaho Mountain Express's Facebook page. And we're looking at a piece of property that is located between Hailey and Bellevue on the east side of the highway. And what we are seeing in the comment thread is really what I want to touch on. It's interesting to me, the thread where it is a hard no at all costs. There can be no new development within the corridors of Blaine County. It happens very often. And I think when we're looking at this one, it's a little bit unique in the sense that it isn't in the north end of Sun Valley or Ketchum. It isn't a one-off $5 million project, a personal home. This is a project that would have pretty widespread impact in our community. So I think first and foremost, the city obviously needs to do its due diligence, right? And understand what kind of impacts a project like this would have. Sewer, water, roads, infrastructure, and things like that. The city, according to this article, is obviously doing its work and has granted, a waiver to have this project begin to move through the phases of an approval. But when you look at some of these comments, I'll just stop on this one right here. It says, it is time to put out the sorry we are full sign. And there's a few other comments in here that talk about not needing to build because there's already so much inventory inside of our market. I am here to express to you that our inventory levels are historically low still. We have very few residential properties on the market in the Sun Valley area. We are by all measures by about 50% off from where we were in 2019. There's give or take about 400 active residential properties for sale across all of Blaine County. Now, I'm not saying rubber stamp this project. That is not where I'm coming from. But I am coming from a standpoint of asking the question, if it is a hard no and nothing can get developed, what do we think this place looks like in 20 years? So I think it's important to back out just a little bit. And if we were to build 400, 500, 600 homes, all the questions that I asked before around infrastructure need to be answered. But real estate is a supply and demand issue. And we have very little supply and demand remains strong. If you look at the Austin market out of Texas, they're seeing a pretty sizable correction, and it's correlated directly to supply and demand. Their supply is on the rise and demand is waning. So you're seeing price corrections in that market. Now, barring some sort of a large spike in inventory in our valley, we probably are going to see housing remain high. Now, the question I think I have is, if we don't develop this land, and I'm not saying it should or shouldn't, but if we don't look at this type of project and say, how can this be done in a way that makes sense for the community? I have a feeling that a lot of the people that are commenting here saying, no way, I don't want it, might not be happy with the type of valley we live in the future. Because if we do build these types of properties here, you are going to see the people that are being priced out of our community, that are moving further south, that are relocating to Lincoln County or to Twin Falls or to Jerome, continue to migrate out. And I want to share this link with you as well, because on our assessor's website, it shows us where people are moving. And look at this. previous county, where these people moved from prior to. In 2019, 92% of people that lived in Blaine County relocated in Blaine County. So if you bought in Hailey, sold in Hailey, you moved to Bellevue, you moved to Hailey, you stayed within the walls of this community. And you can see what's happening over time. 2026, it's 75%. Now, that could be a couple things. You might see, obviously, fewer properties trading due to prices, lack of inventory. Maybe someone has a low interest rate. But this number here, I think is an underlying cause of saying, hey, the people who are moving are leaving. They're selling their homes and they are vacating. And I think that is a real problem, that the people who are commenting on the Mountain Express article and the Facebook article, while they're saying we want to preserve the way this valley is, we don't want to be like Aspen and or Vail, I have a concern that you might be, by saying no to things like this, driving us further into what a Aspen or Vail market might look like. Because those people that can't afford it right now, without some increase in supply, aren't going to be able to afford it 5 years from now, let alone 10 years from now. So while you might have yours today, what does the future look like? What happens to your kids if you have grandkids? Is it not the same opportunity for anyone in the future to be able to come here, find a home that makes sense, and settle down and make Sun Valley their place to live? And again, I'm a realtor, so I might get hung for this, and that's fine. I'm willing to take the arrows, but I really think it's an honest conversation that should be had. Is it no new development at all? Or is it a question of this community saying, how can these things make sense for all of us in the time we live in now, but also looking forward? There's this underlying thing of this place cannot change. And I love this place. I've been coming here since I was a really young kid. But everything changes. Nothing stays the way it was. So I'd love your feedback on this. What do you think? Is it an absolute hard no, nothing ever changes, we can't do anything? Or is it a question of how do we sustain and make this place that we love available for future generations? Again, if you've got any value in this video or you have a thought, I'd love to hear from you. Zach Greenawalt at Dry Fly Collective Real Estate.